name is Ashlyn. I am the president of HOSA and I am a senior.
I'm Anna and I'm the vice president, her twin sister.
So the other day when we went to Vermont Tech to see their simulation studio, or I guess laboratory, that was a field trip just to get students out and really understand more of what HOSA is about. And career development, get them interested in any sort of maybe nursing programs. I've had quite a few students come up to me and say that they have interest in nursing, and I thought that was, I guess Mr. Braden, and I thought that was both a pretty solid idea and good way to get students out and start looking at different careers that they would be interested in. It's also really cool because working with those, I guess, mannequins, almost robots really, students get a feel for what it's actually like to do patient nursing care. Like it's a time and a place where they're actually able to do certain things. Like you can perform CPR on those robots, you can administer IVs. There's a lot of different things that could be done there.
And one of the things that was special about it, I can't remember her name. Who was the lady?
Becky.
Becky. What position does she have?
She's a nurse practitioner.
So Becky, the nurse practitioner who was showing us the lab, the practice lab, or skills lab, I guess is what they called it. She said that one of the positives of working with robotics patients as opposed to real patients is that the robotic patients can have symptoms of extreme severity, whereas a lot of the times people who go into nursing feel like they don't have a lot of practice with legitimate situations because sometimes it's just little colds or things like that. They're not prepared for heart attacks or people to code on them because it doesn't happen very often.
So HOSA, it stands for Health Occupation Students of America, and ultimately has a little bit of like a side thing that it really is it's basically health career professionals. How I got involved with HOSA is both Ann and I are originally from Florida, and down there in my freshman year and sophomore year I participated in HOSA. My freshman year I was historian of our club, and I competed in forensic medicine. And for me, that was an exhilarating experience. I know I've always had interest in medicine, and I've always been looking for ways to dive deeper into those interests and really just expand my knowledge as much as possible. And competing in forensics was really awesome. Me and my partner studied very frequently. It became a huge part of my life. I was learning a lot of really cool different things. I was given the opportunity to shadow anthropologists and speak with them about what their job is and what exactly forensic medicine entails. And then come competition, I basically just had to take this test was amped up to be a little bit more than it actually was, but just a 55 question test. And then once me and my partner passed that, we proceeded to the next stage, which was a crime scene. We walked into a room that was set up to be like a crime scene, and we had judges in the corner, and we had 30 minutes to identify time of death, cause of death, and how long the patient has been down for. Which for me, that was super cool because it was a little bit of a taste of what it would be like.
And HOSA is, sure it is like primarily focused on health careers, but I think that its primary focus is students. It gets students who have an interest and a fire for enjoying health sciences, and so it gets students involved in situations that might set them up for life in terms of being in a biomedical science career like Ashlyn.
I learned so much from those 2 years that I was in HOSA in Florida, and it was one of probably the hardest things to leave behind once I moved. I gained a lot of, it really gave me the extra bump to actually go out and do things. More medically related, I started attending medical classes actually at a medical school down in Florida for a while and enrolled in a couple programs there that were really cool, and because of HOSA, I was able to do that. And it also built background knowledge that I needed for those classes that I was able to use and understand. Because we were learning with med students, and we were sophomores. So it was
it also helps build a resume.
Mhm,
Like if
yeah.
you have that experience, because HOSA opens doors to certain like experiences that you might not get if you were just by yourself.
Well, I was very surprised when I moved to Vermont and found that there was no existing HOSA chapter. And I saw that as an opportunity to, well, let's make an existing HOSA chapter in Vermont. And so far it's been difficult. I've had a much larger interest than I had anticipated for. So I've had to cross a couple of boundaries with that one. But HOSA, it also, one thing that it really is created for is to find peak interests in students and to really work on developing those. So if a student is interested in like mechanisms of injury, or say engineering or anything like that, it could be mathematical, it could be hands-on, it could be creating a poster, things like that. It really gets students using those skills and interests to develop something more of that. And you can actually, there's so many different careers in the medical field. So being able to find and pinpoint those things that you want to learn and develop more, you could create a career out of it or find something that you would like to develop.
I think that the first Career Center class that I took was College and Career Readiness with Miss Cornell. Excellent teacher, excellent class. So pretty much the only feel that I got for the Career Center was just walking over here and going to the class and seeing that it's more of a career-based learning as opposed to a math class or something that could, some kind of skill that seems disposable. It's not that, it's a skill that you could use to put forward into building your career. And that's what most of in my opinion, that's what most of the Career Center classes are. They're specified towards specific careers that you are interested in, and they give you skills that are not disposable and that you can use. The second class that I took was Human Body Systems, which Iva is currently in. Excellent class, loved it. I learned a lot. I took it with Mr. Braden. It is technically a Career Center class. It does meet in the BUHS building, but it is a Career Center class because it does help build skills in health science, and you learn about the body. It's exactly what it sounds like, the human body. And through that class, I gained a love for the human body, basically, and how it works. And so that kind of led me to the idea of nursing or whatever. And I met with a man, I can't remember his name, a while ago to talk about internship opportunities. And that's another thing that the Career Center does. They don't only focus on what you're doing here in the Career Center, they focus on getting you hooked into programs outside of the Career Center so that you can start a life and you can go into that career that you're wishing to do. For me, at the time, things have changed, but at the time it was nursing, and I was looking into a nursing internship. I heard about the opportunity through, I heard of an experience that one of our prior students had. Her name was Emily, I don't remember her last name, but she was super interested in nursing, and the Career Center actually got her hooked into a program.
She did a talk last year, right?
Yeah,
she
the Career Center got her hooked into a program that allowed her to go to actual birthing centers and literally deliver children. Like, she was there, like, hands-on, like,
amazing.
And the Career Center made it so that she could do that type of thing. And no matter what it is, maybe it isn't nursing, maybe it isn't health sciences, maybe it's fire, or maybe it's law or carpentry. Like, they have an automotive system, or the class that is excellent, that I've heard a lot of really great things about. But I think Ashlyn could talk about the classes that she's in right now.
So for me, I started to participate in forensic medicine with HOSA. I have had at the time and have no intentions of going into the forensic medical field just because it's dealing with death continuously and not a great place for me to be. But one thing that it did do is it got me interested in how much I enjoyed deducing issues or looking at a scene and trying to figure out what exactly happened. And I didn't really realize it until I actually switched schools mostly for the Career Center here. And a reason for that being is I knew that I really enjoyed thinking on my toes, and I really liked sort of honestly being under pressure and having to produce skills to save a life. And I knew that that would be EMR and fire.
Where did you go to school before?
So I went to the Putney School before this, and which was a great school, not for me, didn't offer classes like EMR or fire. So I ultimately moved here to attend those classes and start HOSA up here. Participating in EMR and fire has made me realize that what I would like to do with my life is not just be an EMT or a paramedic, but I would like to actually go on medical missions in third world countries. And I actually have a first medical mission set up for Athens, Greece this fall. So that I would definitely say that because of HOSA and because of the Career Center, I got what I needed to finally
So
get there
freaking
and
cool.
do those things.
But like the reason that she's able to go on this mission is that the Career Center set her up so that she had CPR training and she had all the medical requirements that an 18-year-old can possibly get right now.
And actually, the only thing that I need to go on medical missions is a BLS certification, which I currently hold. So whenever I go to Florida, I've actually been doing medical outreach down there.
Very nice.
We don't get the opportunity to really talk about what we enjoy here very often, and it's really cool to be able to actually. I personally, of course, because being the founder and starting this all up, I have a great love and passion for HOSA, and it's not often that I get to actually do something with that.